Let's go, street pro, bottom line, flow, canteen, hot take, Jake, and O, sports professor, you know, Yo, street professor, I'm back, baby, like I never left, bottom line, flow, canteen, hot take, Jake, and O,
Go hard, or go home. 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 Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, or go home. Go hard, or go home. Yeah, these championship rings on my hands now. In my head, I'm top 10, yeah, that's hands down. You a squad, now you're looking man down. Funny how foes turn to friends now. Drive a race car like a Atari now. Call filling up, I need product again. Treat the business like a playground, might slide on you. Don't me wrong, might slide on you. Do a backflip, cause I'm mad rich. I'm the definition of what that is. Go hard, or go home. 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 Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, or go home. Go hard, or go home. I'm a warrior, I go back to back, then go back to back. If I top the top, then a double back, and I'm topping that. Yeah, I beat my own records. Yeah, I gotta get money fetish. Same team, I don't set trip. Never dull, this electric. Went and put the Ricks on my toes. Me and bro, that's the give and go. Stay 100, end zone. Keep them coming. I know. I won't flood my wrist, no, I'm not dumb like that. No. I just wanna give my mama 100 racks. Go hard, or go home. 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 Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, or go home. Go hard, or go home.
Yeah! What's going on? About the Cowboys. Welcome to the bottom line.
What on earth is happening right
That's
now?
Canteen over there. Omar down there on the corner. The guy down there in the appropriate bag is Hot Take Jay. What's the bag for the Broncos?
What's in the bag? What's in the bag?
What's in the bag, Jay? Oh, them Cowboys.
Yo, my man Jake got a hole in the bag on his face like the Broncos put a hole in his heart.
Oh! What up, fellas? Welcome to the bottom line. Jake's obviously wearing the appropriate sack for his Broncos team. So 0-2.
Ruben Fonseca. Woo! He said, "What the hell? That's your dad, man."
I have a
now
question.
get on with the show, man. My gosh.
What was that just happened?
Man.
I don't understand.
Oh man. Hey, did you want to introduce somebody, Omar?
Flo, did you learn to play guitar over the weekend or something?
Hey, I know how to
Did
play
miss
guitar.
out on
I don't know that song, but
Yeah. Hold on.
okay. You get it? Okay. Omar's got a special guest. This is the bottom line.
Yeah. Because earlier when we were on,
What up?
yeah, when we were on in the background earlier, you
Yeah.
you caught my grandmother floating on the camera since I'm at her
Right,
house.
right.
So she loves our
Yeah.
show. She watches it every
Okay,
weekend. So
shout
I'm
out
gonna bring
to
her and my
Gran.
mom on real quick and just introduce them.
Abuela,
This is my
abuelita,
grandmother.
coming.
My mom's
Hey.
mother. Abuela Tata. That's her. She says hello. You're alive to everybody all over the world. They love you.
Saludos,
She said
todo
thank you.
bien.
She's also going to sleep now because it's 8:00. So she
Oh.
says saludo y todo bien. And then this is my mom, Luxar,
Dios le bendiga.
on the other stream with Dion,
Oh, it's Mama Omar.
my beautiful, lovely mother. So he
The
said,
Mama Sports
Dios
Professor.
te lo bendiga. He speaks a little bit of Spanish. So.
Hey, sí, todo. Dios le
Oh,
bendiga. Todo bien. Eh. All right, Omar and his family reunion. Hey, I was here. I saw my whole
Thank
family
you.
yesterday. So I know what it's like to see family, have family around. So it was a good time. My son got married. Shout out to Elijah and Ellen, newlyweds.
congratulations, man.
Congratulations to them. Anyway, man, what a weekend,
Congrats.
man. Take Jake appropriately with the bag on the head after his brother. We'll talk about it, though. We'll talk about it. All right.
Hey, I got something to say about that bag real quick, though.
Oh, real quick?
Hey,
Okay.
hey, Flo. The
What?
bag on Jake's head, it had a hole
Right.
in it, right? And it's perfectly representative of the hole that the Broncos are leaving in Jake's heart this year.
Oh.
Shut up, Omar.
Hey, but he showed up. Jake showed up. So that's
He
good.
showed up though.
He showed up. I appreciate it. Hey, 1,309.
He showed up.
on the
He showed
Facebook
up.
group.
He showed up, though. That's
Yeah,
fine.
1,309 in the Facebook group. We'll talk about his Broncos in a minute. Thanks to all the Facebook members. Appreciate those who share, like, and do all that stuff. Comment for us. And somebody said Broncos. Is that you, Jake? Put that in there? Broncos for life?
I did.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh,
You know we can tell when one of us puts in the chat, right, Jake? It's not
Right.
It's not like it's secret.
Ruben Fonseca, your dad, he put Peyton is thinking about the size of the humble
7337.
he will have to eat. So he may have to apologize to Hackett. I don't know.
Hey,
Man,
the Broncos are not looking good, and
Man.
yeah, I was just gonna say that all that trash he talked before the season. Oh, he's
Hey.
gonna eat it all if he don't
Hey,
win games.
To his credit, it's still early, so he got a shot still. But we'll talk about it in a minute, man.
What?
Hey, I appreciate everybody who's watching this YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all our Facebook pages and all that good stuff. Jump in, comment on anything. Hey, let's get into this a little Major League Baseball. So, it looks like the. Hang on a second. It looks like 4 teams have clinched a spot. The Braves have clinched the NL East. The Dodgers have clinched NL West. Orioles have clinched a playoff spot in the AL, and the Rays have clinched a playoff spot. Those are the only teams that have clinched, as far as I know, Omar. So, what's your thoughts on the MLB? Any thoughts coming in about any particular team that you feel like is going to make a run or could make a run here in the playoffs? That's not necessarily the top team. Huh?
Go ahead, y'all. I'll let y'all go, and then I'll go.
Yeah. Anybody else
Y'all
think
go
can
ahead,
make a
and then I'll
run?
go after everybody goes.
Yeah, you want me? I mean, baseball. I mean, I'm strictly Braves, man. The Braves look phenomenal, man. I mean, they got a 96-53 record. I mean, that's the team I'm really banking on. The Braves. I think the Brewers may be able to make a run with their record 84-65.
Right.
And the Dodgers from the National League, but American League, man, don't sleep on Tampa Bay, bro. Tampa Bay, the Rays look good, and it's hard to say with that American League East, man. Everybody's team is playing above 500.
Yeah.
Except for one team, they're like 0.7%, whatever it is. They're like almost at 500. So
What team is that, Canteen?
Who? The Red Sox. They're almost at 500, but they're not quite at 500. But
Okay.
man, my sleeper team out of all of them though from the American League.
Okay.
The Astros. Houston.
Astros. Oh.
Houston.
Okay.
Houston. I know the Braves gonna be there for sure.
Okay.
But Houston, don't sleep on Houston, man.
You got a sleeper team, Jake? That's not
My
one of the
sleeper
top-
team is the Phillies, man. They're gonna do the
Okay.
unthinkable, and they're gonna beat everybody.
Wow.
Oh.
Say,
So-
man,
So
the
you've
Phillies
actually-
are gonna whoop y'all.
So you've
Sorry.
The
actually-
Braves.
Yeah, they'll beat the Braves.
So for
They
Jake,
know y'all too well.
right now, bro.
They know y'all too well. You be ready.
so Jake's all in for the Phillies. So now we know that he's still their faith to losing. So the Phillies will be out soon. Jake is on.
And
I'm just messing with you.
Whatever.
and you know what, Flo? Let me back you up on that with a little bit of a statistic record-wise here for the fans.
All right, go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
in the past 2 weeks since the last time we talked baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers, who are Canteen sleeper team, are actually 11-8 in their last 19 games, while the Philadelphia Phillies, who are Jake's sleeper team, are 9-10 in the last 19 games. So the
There you
Phillies
go.
have been stumbling a little bit. The Brewers have been moving ahead. I really love the top three rotation for the Brewers. You got Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta, and Brandon Woodruff. That's a top three that can compete with anyone. So they would be a sleeper team to watch out for in the NL. That being said, I got to agree with Ken. I can't see anybody going above the Braves and the Dodgers. They're just too good of teams that are pieced together really well as complete teams. Like, even when you look at them, the only thing you might be able to see as weaknesses is possibly the Braves bullpen depth and also the Dodgers starting pitching, since Clayton Kershaw is the only one still standing from opening day, which is amazing since he's the oldest guy on the staff. So that's what I would say
Right.
about that, the National League there.
Okay. Hey, and so I see that my Braves snuck into that. I mean, my Rangers snuck into that very last spot. It's still kind of up for grabs. You think my Rangers can hang on to that last wild card spot? What do you think, Omar?
Yeah, Flo, man. You know, I have to eat my words, right? Because I told you
Okay.
that Texas was not going to hold on. I figured with the injury to DeGrom, it wasn't going to help.
Right.
And then I definitely figured when Scherzer went down, you know, with the recent injury, because now, if anybody didn't know, Scherzer is out for the rest of the season. He has a minus ladder injury, which is what Justin Verlander had at the beginning of the year. So he's not going to pitch the rest of the year. So Texas doesn't have him. That being said, Texas, while they have stumbled a little bit in the last week to a 3-5 record, they've actually been playing really well in the past month. And overall, they have a 600 winning percentage in the month of August. And so they are sitting there right at that last, like you said, wild card, one game in front of Seattle. And the only reason I'll say that they're going to continue there, they're not going to jump again above Houston. Houston has Framber Valdez. They got Justin Verlander. They got Jose Altuve back. They got a complete team. They're going to be up there with the Orioles and Rays, as Ken said, right? The Orioles are a surprise team of the year. But the Mariners, who was my sleeper team earlier in the summer, they've fallen off. They've completely fallen off within the last month. They're 4-9 in their last 13 games. So, I see Texas holding on to that AL West.
Let's go.
The number last wild card spot. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So, what about? I kind of. You think the Marlins can make a run? They just swept the Braves. In a little, they played them recently. They had a pretty good stretch in July. They kind of fallen out a little bit in August. But what do you think that they have a chance to make it a push here in the postseason?
What you said, the Rays, or you said Marlins?
The Marlins. Assuming they can hang on to that last wild card spot.
Man, right now.
Yeah. Because when we talked the other day, doesn't it seem like they always make a run every so many years? They go and win something, or was that Miami? I thought that was Miami that we talked about the other day.
I think the Marlins, man, it's gonna be tight, man. It's gonna be tight with them trying to squeeze.
It's tight for that last spot, but I don't know. It just seems like every now and then Miami wins it, and then they're no good for another decade or something. I don't know, something like that. I just know
That is the exact plan of Miami every 10 years. They get really good. They get to the championship. They even might win a championship, and then they break it down and tear it all down. That being said, they're behind the Reds, they're ahead of the Reds by 1 game.
Okay.
But behind those Chicago Cubs for the last spot. I think Chicago Cubs, with their depth of their rotation and their lineup, I think that they will hold off the Reds and the Marlins. So that would be what I would say.
Okay. All right, y'all got any questions, any playoff questions, or any other comments, guys, for the MLB before we move on? Some college football. Omar? Jake, got anything?
I'm good. I just don't know why you're looking at the Phillies like they're not going to do anything. They just went to the World Series last year. I don't know what's wrong with them. Is that not experience? Doesn't
you are
matter
right,
now?
though.
What's going on?
It does. You're completely right about that, Jake. Last year, the Phillies made a very impressive run from the summer throughout to make it to the World Championship. The thing I think is, they got ahead of their skis, basically, so to say. They started playing really well out of the break, and I think they got too hot, and they kind of flamed out like a star, and now they're starting to stumble. And the thing about baseball is you need momentum going into the playoffs. That's why a lot of times those teams that win those last wildcard spots, they end up in the championship because they had to win so many games to get that momentum into the playoffs.
That makes sense. All right, so I appreciate it, man. Let us know what you think about the postseason coming up for the Major League Baseball. A lot still to be decided as far as the playoffs, especially in those wild card spots. So just let us know what you think. So let's bounce into some college football. I'll mention a few games, and then you guys can jump in with any games you want to mention or comment on the ones we're going to talk about. But what about Florida State number 3 struggling with Boston College? Man, they escaped with a win, 31-29. Is this you would think this would hurt their ranking and they would drop in the polls a little bit. What do you guys think about Florida State struggling against Boston College?
And they still rank number, and it's Florida State, what, 4? Are they 4 now?
They drop. I haven't checked the polls, so.
Yeah, they dropped 1.
They dropped 1, okay. So you think it's a bad sign, or is this just like like one of those teams that this?
Nah, that's bad. That's bad.
Okay.
It's bad when you struggle against a 1-1 team and you're undefeated, and you struggle against a Boston College team like that. Yeah, it's bad.
What do you think, Omar? This was one of your picks to possibly be a sleeper or a dark horse to make it into the top 4.
Yeah,
you didn't pick them.
I definitely had them. Yeah, No. You're right, but they were my outside sleeper team. You're completely
right. Yeah, that's true. Right. What do you think? Is this hurt their chances?
That was Jordan Travis, who was playing really well before. Before he got injured, right? They were playing really well, but Jordan Travis got injured in the third quarter. He went down, and so that might have, it did affect his play and the rest of the team's play the rest of the game. While I think that a loss to Boston College is unimpressive anytime, I do believe that it is, close. I don't think that this early in the season, unless it was a loss or a substantial blowout, I don't think that they're going to lose rankings for just beating them by a little bit because it is so early in the season.
Right. So you think a loss would have been more detrimental than just a close game? Okay. What do you think, Jake?
If they'd have lost, they'd have been done.
Hold on, Omar. They play Clemson next week, and they don't look so good. So let me tell you this: your momentum is now dropping. Then you got to play Clemson. What's going to happen here, Omar? I feel they had a fluke win against LSU week 1. I feel they're not doing that so well. And I think they're going to end up being probably at the end of the day, probably top 20, 25 team in the whole entire college at the end of it all. Because they'll lose to Clemson this weekend, and then they're going to lose to Duke, I think, in 3 or 4 weeks. So it'll be an easy chance.
I mean, you can't really call a blowout victory a fluke, and they blew LSU out. And LSU,
I don't think LSU was ready.
Yeah, they did blow LSU out.
I don't think LSU was ready.
That being said, I think I do think you're right. I do think they lose to Clemson this weekend because they're playing at Clemson. And that could definitely hurt their chances. Although being a divisional game or a conference game, they can still play them in the championship. And if they were to win the ACC championship, they would still have a chance to get in, even with the loss to Clemson.
I like Florida State over Clemson. I think Florida State going to beat Clemson. Clemson ain't making that much noise, especially at the quarterback. The offense ain't really clicking like that.
Mm-hmm.
Dabo's about to show him what's up. You watch.
Okay.
You heard it
He
here
needs
first.
to win. Dabo needs to win desperately.
He needs
Anyway,
to win bad. He needs to win.
Yeah,
It would be
he's
good
gonna
for him to win.
He's going to win. Beautiful upset.
we'll see. Should be a good game. All right, so one other game I want to mention, then you guys can tap in on any games. Alabama struggled with South Florida. Kind of an ugly win, 17-3. I mean, South Florida doesn't have a great team per se. Does this mean that maybe Milroe comes back in? I mean, they can't. It seems like they're not settled at quarterback. They're all kinds of trouble. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. Milroe's the guy. They already got Milroe in the saddle for this week. They play Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is going to beat Alabama. I think Ole Miss got a great opportunity. Lane Kiffin's going to come into town and beat Nick Saban. Milroe's back in the saddle. Here's where they went wrong. He played two quarterbacks Saturday.
Right.
The other kid came from Notre Dame transfer. I mean, his numbers were 5 and 9, 73 yards. They had Rashad Williams, 17 carries, 129 yards, 1 touchdown. And then they had their receiver, DePerr, 1 reception, 45 yards. Alabama looks horrible. They look like garbage. They look pathetic. Their biggest weakness is their offensive line. Their offensive line is horrible. Everybody is a quarterback. They don't have a good offensive line, and that's going to be their struggle. I think right now Alabama is at number 13. I think they're going to keep dropping. This is not their year. This is not their year. The team that I predict to win the SEC West will probably be LSU. LSU will win the West and beat Georgia championship. Beat Georgia, LSU. Beat Georgia, LSU come December.
Shout out to Hot Take Jake.
He predicted it. After what I've seen so far.
What do you think, Jake, about this Alabama win that looked kind of ugly?
Well, it's very few times I agree with Canteen. Very few times the drunk man right, but I gotta give it to him. I gotta give it to him. He's actually right. Alabama's about to reel, and they're gonna reel fast. There's already reports, I don't know if y'all have seen it, that this could be Nick Saban's last year. I think he's already seeing the ending. I think he better understand this should be the ending because there's no more of just 4 teams anymore.
Yeah,
he's about to go through a gauntlet now, starting next year in college football.
Open up.
Retire right now, buddy.
I put that
Texas
out
showed you
Nick
what's
Saban
up
on our page, and people were telling me I was lying. I was like, it's just a rumor out there. I didn't say it was true, but yeah, people gave me a hard time about that. Yeah, it could be true. I don't know. Any Gaelic games you want to touch on?
Hey man, hit that Georgia. Hey, so man, Flo, I was kind of nervous.
Right.
Man, unranked South Carolina came in against Georgia ranked number 1. Man, Georgia struggled. South Carolina's defense was solid. Man, I'll go through the numbers, man. Spencer Rattler, 22 for 42, 256 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Carson Beck, 27 for 35, 269 yards. I mean, we're struggling on offense. Our offensive line is weak. Our defense got a lot of holes. And Mike Bobo is not a Todd Monken. We need Todd Monken, a person that knows how to call plays.
Somebody sound the alarm. We need an offensive coordinator.
We need offensive coordinator. Bro, if Jordan don't tighten the ship up now, Florida may beat us. Florida stunk. They stunk Tennessee. Tennessee. And I'm worried about Florida, man.
What y'all think about Georgia struggling a little bit against South Carolina?
Offensive coordinator, bro.
What do y'all think, Omar? Jake?
I think it's the same stuff over and over with those guys. They won't luck out this year. They're probably going to lose here soon. I wouldn't be surprised within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Who do they play in the next 2 to 3 weeks? I could have sworn I saw Tennessee coming up.
We got UAB, then we got Auburn, and we got Auburn in 2 weeks.
Okay, that's it right there. That was the team I was thinking. Auburn. Yeah, that's an upset. Auburn beats them. I'm calling it now.
Auburn's 3-0. They look pretty good. They're looking pretty good this year. And then also the other team, Kentucky, looks pretty good so far, 3-0.
I want to warn everybody real quick that I know everybody was worried about Texas going to the SEC about, oh man, Texas ain't gonna make it. I'd warn the SEC about Texas because we're looking like a beast of no other.
Hey, that's why you picked them in your top 4?
I didn't know they were going to do this good this fast.
I picked them. Who picked them? Exactly.
Yeah, you also picked Texas Tech to be a top 25 team.
Yep, and they will be.
Oh my! No, a top 10 team. My fault.
It'll happen. It's early. It's early still. We're going into conference play.
Never seen a 2-loss team.
It'll happen. It'll happen. It'll happen.
You ain't never seen a 3-loss team make top 10?
No, and they're gonna lose the third one here soon.
It looks kind of.
It'll happen.
I mean, I just think the SEC looks kind of. Doesn't the SEC look kind of ordinary though now, y'all? It's like
they look a lot weaker.
There's no spectacular team.
Yeah,
there's not a dominant. Yeah, usually there's
no
spectacular team standing out. You got Georgia.
Right. There's not a big
playing.
There's not a big
That's
dominant.
Not the Pac-12.
Right.
The Pac-12
because remember,
dangerous.
you used to have Georgia, Alabama, LSU. And now you know what I mean?
And then Florida was in there for a little while.
The Pac-12 is the best conference by far.
Right now, yep.
I agree.
The
SEC is looking ordinary. You got the Dogs playing down to North Carolina. You got Tennessee losing to Florida. I agree. I think Ole Miss is going to come in and take out Alabama. I know that I picked them to be in my top 4, but it does not look good for Alabama at all. It looks bad. And the fact that they also say they're going to bring back Milroe, you don't even know if they can, because the reason they didn't bring Milroe back into the game this weekend is because of the way that he handled being taken out of the game at the beginning of the game. He didn't handle it very well, so they didn't put him back in. So I'm hoping that he'll be able to redeem himself. But like Jake said, the Pac-12 is the best conference in the league. And you got UW there with Michael Penix Jr. routing Michigan State, having Michigan State college fans going home early, the student section looking like no one went to the game.
But I want to caveat on something, man.
USC playing really well, so I agree with Jake there on the Pac-12 being the best conference.
But if you think about this, Omar, man, Michigan State, they're going through a lot of crap right now. I mean, they just terminated. I mean, Mel Tucker's an idiot. He's an idiot. For that contract he had, they terminated him. He lost his contract. They ain't got a head coach. I mean, I think that brings a lot of uncertainty to an organization. He's crazy.
Yeah. And like you said,
sure.
You said, Omar,
and I agree with that.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say one thing. I agree with that. That when you take the head coach away, that's going to affect the team. And usually it does happen within that first season. I just didn't expect it to happen the first game right away. I figured they'd be able to roll on with the coordinators. But I do have something to say about this situation. And this is not going to be a hot take, Jake. This is going to be a serious take, Omar, professor, right now. I completely
Sports
agree.
Professor is in the classroom.
Mel Tucker is an ignorant moron. You have to be one of, if the story is said to be true.
Allegations, right? The allegations.
The girl, Brenda Tracy, has been going around to college campuses for years, teaching kids about sexual assault and how not to do it. And you're telling me you're celebrating this victim who has gone from college to college to college. You even made her the ceremonial captain of Michigan State spring game, and then you're going to sexually assault her? Like, if this is true, that man has no moral compass whatsoever and deserves everything he gets. But it's allegations, so you don't know. I'm not going to step on his name,
to be
that's
fair,
the story.
Right. To be fair, Omar, they've had multiple conversations, well over 30 to 45 minutes. And if someone's not into the conversation, they're not going to stay on the phone for more than a couple minutes at most. And so I don't know. Yeah. There seems to be some consensual things happening there. And now maybe he cut her off, or maybe she's scorned. That's a possibility as well. Like I said, these are allegations, but it's kind of odd that she would stay on the phone 30 to 45 minutes to an hour talking to this guy who's supposedly harassing her. These are all late night calls, and they're on the phone for a long time. So it just seems, there's two sides to the story, and you're right. If it's true what he's doing, it's not good at all. But I mean, like I said, there are two sides to the story. You got anything, Jake, on that?
And
no. If Omar's
I hope
right,
you're
it's
right.
true.
I hope it's consensual. I really do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping also. Because if not, he's a piece of trash.
Yeah.
He told me.
All right, so yeah. Let us know what you guys think. Some controversial things there happening, and I think the thing that looks bad is that she's an advocate for victims and stuff, and then now he ended up having some kind of relationship with her. Whether it was consensual, it's still a bad look for him, even if it was consensual. It's just a really bad look for him.
It's a bad look, man. There's
no matter what, it is
so
a bad
many
look.
women in the world that
Right.
that Mel Tucker, the coach of Michigan State, could pick
Right.
up at a bar, at a restaurant, on the street,
Right.
on campus. Why the lady who teaches against sexual assault?
Right,
That's
right.
what doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
the one you leave alone. That's
Right.
the one you don't get attracted to. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Just stay away because it's definitely a bad look, even if it was consensual, like we're talking about. Yeah. Hey, so real quick, let's go to your dad says always two sides. So
Correct.
Colorado State and Colorado, there was this big
Yes,
sunglass
sir.
going into that. They were 23-point underdogs and gave Colorado Buffaloes all they could handle. Man, a lot of stuff going on in that game. It went into double overtime, I think. It's just a lot. Just the competitive of the game. One of the late hits that got, everybody's been criticizing, and then the late game heroics by Sanders, Shedeur Sanders. Just a lot going on in that game. It didn't turn out quite how Colorado had predicted. They were kind of saying, they made it personal, and so they made it sound like they were going to, really beat them down. But it was very competitive throughout the game. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? We'll start with Canteen. We'll go to Jake, and then when Omar comes back, talk about it. What do you think, Cam?
Hey man, the magic in the Rockies, man. It's the magic in the Rockies, man. As I've said all season long, man. I love what Coach Prime is all about, what he's bringing to the table, what he's doing, and all the, pomp and circumstance, bringing all the different people in and doing the different great things that he's doing, man. They're 3-0.
Right.
I don't like the poll, how they dropped them down 1-19 or 18. I think they should have moved up, but Duke is 18, they're 19. Man, Shedeur Sanders is that guy, man. 38 for 47, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. His other son, Shiloh, got caught the interception, ran it back, took it to the house. Man, this game was crazy. They played it down to the wire, but they were able to overcome adversity. The whole other coach, Jim Norville, and his beef with Coach Prime, I think that was absurd. I think that was too much over the top. But again, they win. And the late hit, I think the guy should have been tossed out of the game, man. Should have been ejected, targeting should have been gone. But that's a whole nother story for a different conversation. I think
there was a defensive penalty. People were saying that should have been called on Colorado State that kind of turned the game a little bit as well. I can't remember the name of the player, but
it should have been targeted. The guy should have been done, ejected. But I mean, there was a whole lot of beef going back and forth throughout the entire game. This week, I think Colorado got a lot cut out for them. They play against number 10 Oregon State. Oregon. Dan Lanning, old Georgia boy, Alabama product. Yeah. I think they're gonna dust them off pretty good.
I don't know because they're missing their number one player, their number one skill player. Travis Hunter's going to be out for 4 weeks.
Yeah, Hunter.
So this is not a time to be out.
He's out for 3-4 weeks. So I like Oregon. They got Oregon, then they got USC.
Right. So
they might take two L's.
What are your thoughts, Jake, on this game? Colorado State, Colorado, anything?
I think this game showed the adversity of how great Deion Sanders is as a head coach.
Okay.
And I'm going to add this in. Are we sure Caleb Williams is the number 1 pick of the NFL draft that's coming up here?
Oh.
I saw Shedeur Sanders play from the 2 and drive down the field. And he didn't have Travis Hunter, like you said, because he plays wide receiver too. He's a two-way player. And he drove down the field and marched down there. I think, you know what? This was an upset all over. I think they should have lost. They didn't. And I think that's exactly what they needed before their 2 biggest games of their lives.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to beat both of them.
You think so? Okay.
Deion will not lose to either one. You heard it here first, and I'm going to tell you why.
Oh.
Yeah, Omar is shocked as ever, per usual, until Jake is right.
Which is far and few between. Go ahead, Jake.
So wait. So the one or few times that you're right, we're supposed to respect all the horrible takes that you have.
Right now, Omar, the Lions. Now they took a step back, but them Dolphins look pretty dangerous once again this week. Did they not?
Yeah.
As I'm saying, they're facing Oregon and they're facing USC. Do either of those two teams have a good defense?
Yeah.
Do either of those two teams have a good defense? No.
To be fair, Jake.
So I think Shedeur Sanders is going to mop them up. I don't know why he said the other way around. He will mop them up.
And where's Colorado's defense at? What are you talking about?
And their defense is suspect. Their defense is suspect.
That's fine.
They let a subpar Colorado State team hang around.
Exactly. If you're letting Colorado
and I think
State
the
put up that many
front
points
four.
on you,
Go ahead, Omar, and then you go.
Go ahead, Omar.
Omar, go ahead.
Let me finish my point after you say this.
No, I was just gonna say if you're letting that, if you're letting Colorado State put up that many points on you, and Oregon just put up 80 the other day, albeit against a bad team. What do you think? They're going to lose both of these games, especially not having Travis Hunter, their best player. Anyways, my bad, Ken. I didn't mean to stop.
Right.
No,
I think with Travis. Go ahead, Ken.
What I was saying is like Colorado, their front four is weak, man. On defense, they're weak. They're very, very weak, and they got subpar defensive backs. I think Shiloh Sanders is decent. He ain't no top tier defensive back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Go ahead. We're gonna finish up, Jake.
Look, listen to this, guys. Are they playing a top defense? If they're playing a top defense, I completely get it. But they're not. That's the way you have to look at it. They're not playing a top defense. And guess what? First one to 60, I'm taking Shedeur Sanders in a heartbeat. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. Speaking of Denver, speaking of Colorado, hey Denver, if we do have to pick up there, I wouldn't mind getting Shedeur.
Okay. Good luck with that. Do you want to tank the season already?
I'm saying if we end up losing. Our season's not over just yet.
You're going to have to get somebody to replace bum Russell Wilson anyway.
You might have said Bo Nix run all over.
You would have thought that the Raiders won this week the way that Omar's talking bad about the Broncos.
Yep. We'll see.
You would have thought.
Hey,
Shout out to Wild Card Mar. We see you. Colorado's defense is bad. Oregon's going to beat them and USC.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Colorado beats them both.
The bad thing for Colorado is, the bad thing for Colorado is and there's a shout out to you, hot take, Jake. But the bad thing for Colorado is that they lost their number one kind of dynamic player on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. And they're going to go against probably the best team they've played so far this season in USC. And USC, despite their defensive troubles, they've done what they're supposed to, is blow out these teams, unlike Colorado has not done that. They have not been able to do that. So we'll see what they do with Arizona State. They should beat them handily. They may struggle because Arizona State's halfway decent. I mean, and they could come up and, this is their kind of their big game for them. But we'll see what happens. And then in a couple of weeks, Travis Hunter's not going to be back yet. And you're going to need him.
About 4 weeks.
Even with Travis Hunter, I think it would be hard pressed.
They're going to struggle.
So without him, it's going to be really tough.
More worried if Shedeur Sanders was injured. That's the best player on that team.
Well, of course, Shedeur Sanders is a key to that defense. But I'm just saying, without Travis Hunter, you're going to be hard pressed to beat a USC team that is highly ranked right now and is playing well on offense for sure. Defense is better than last year. They were terrible last year. They're a little better, which is kind of all they needed was to just be better on defense. And now their offense is really clicking right now. Caleb Williams is playing like the number one pick in the draft. So we'll see what happens the rest of the season. It's still early. We'll see what happens. All right, any other college games you guys want to hit on before we go into the NFL from this past weekend?
I'm good.
All right. So any games you're looking forward to? I think y'all mentioned a couple. Any other games y'all looking forward to in week 4 for college?
Week 4.
Any game you guys are kind of, hey, I want to see that game this weekend?
Everybody really keyed up on that Oregon-Colorado game, man, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I think
Y'all give me a prediction.
Notre Dame, Ohio State. Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Okay.
I like Notre Dame over Ohio State.
And I guess we're all kind of leaning Oregon. Or are you guys picking Colorado in the next game? What do you guys think?
I'm going Oregon, man. I'm going Oregon with a blowout.
You going Oregon too, Omar?
Yeah.
Colorado all day, man. I don't bet against prime time.
Yeah, it's not going to be a blowout.
Right.
It's not going to be a blowout. But yeah, again, look, you're starting to go against real Pac-12 teams, and like Jake, if the Pac-12 is one of the better conferences out right now, if not the best right now at this point in time, then you have to take into account how much better of a team Oregon is than Colorado. Colorado's playing really well. One of my favorite stories of the year. Like Mel said, shout out Mel and the IOW network.
What up, Mel?
Coach Prime is doing his thing. I love it. I love how he gets other coaches riled up. I love how he sold $4 million worth of sunwear. But that doesn't equate to wins. And it has so far. But when it comes to crunch time and you're playing real opponents like they are now, that's when it's go time, and that's when you got to prove yourself.
You would have thought that they hadn't played TCU or something. They hadn't played somebody good. You would think that Omar saying that like that.
No, TCU, they lost a lot of starters, and we all know TCU was
the way
not
you're making it seem is they're playing Abilene State or something. My gosh!
I mean, they're a legitimate team, right? But at the same time,
it might as well be Abilene Christian instead of Texas Christian. With the way they look, they shouldn't even have been ranked. We told you that TCU should have been ranked 50th, not 19th, so it doesn't matter.
Not 19.
Omar, you will eat your crow next week. Next week.
Well, plus look at all the points that Colorado gave up in that game. It wasn't like they blew out TCU. They gave up quite a bit of points. It was, to a TCU team that, to be honest, didn't have all their people they had last year that gave them that good offense that they went to the championship with. So, yeah. Anyway,
prime time. We believe. We believe prime time.
We'll see. Let's see what happens. Hey, so real quick, hey, you put up a good game, Ohio State and Notre Dame. You want to talk on that real quick? What do you think is going to happen there, Canteen? And then everybody can touch on that real quick.
Bro, I'm going Notre Dame, man.
Notre Dame,
man. Notre Dame for us. It's number 6 versus number 9. Notre Dame 4-0. Notre Dame got a great record. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, I like the quarterback at Notre Dame, man. Sam Hartman's put up some great numbers, man. Sam Hartman looked good. You look at what he did last week. I mean, they do 64 for 64. I mean, his passing record 64 for 90, over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns on the season.
Right.
The kid looks good, and I like the coach at Notre Dame too.
Okay.
The Korean American guy, the Korean black guy. I don't know his name, but I like him. I like his coaching style. I like what he brings to the table. But I believe they're going to upset Ohio State, and it's in South Bend. They ain't gonna lose at home. Notre Dame ain't gonna lose at home.
Okay, what do you got? What do you got, Omar, for this one? Omar.
Yeah, I mean, Can makes really, really good points. Notre Dame is regaining 3 key stars this week: linebacker J.D. Bertrand, safety D.J. Brown, and tight end Mitchell Evans. That gives them a really good chance. That being said, I think Notre Dame is still forming together as a team. I believe while they've played well, I think Marcus Freeman, the coach there, I think he still has a little bit of work to do to get that team running as well as Ohio State is. Right now, Kyle McCord has encumbered himself as the QB1 there at Ohio State. And Ohio State with Marvin Harrison and the rest of the crew has looked awesome so far. So that being said, I'm going to take Ohio State in about a 10-point victory.
Okay. What do you got, Jake?
Yeah, I don't see no upset there. I think Ohio State doesn't lose until they see Michigan. So I think Canteen has probably drank one too many Jack Daniel bottles today. So that must be it.
I don't think he drinks Hennessy. He don't drink Jack Daniel. So. But yeah, maybe.
Listen, bro.
Hey, you know what though? Hey, I do agree with Mel though. Mel had a comment. He said, "I think Ryan Day is not a great coach." I agree.
He's not a great coach. He's not a superb coach. He ain't.
Nope, I don't
Yeah.
either.
Good point.
He's mediocre.
For sure. Yeah.
He could have won the championship last year. What are you talking, man?
Against who?
We are, for the most part.
Who?
Oh, we
Just
see why
because he's blessed with all 5 stars, 4 and 5 stars. So I mean,
He's got a chance to be great.
You're a Michigan fan, that's why. You see. Yeah, so I kind of agree with a lot of you. Make some good points. I feel like this is, Notre Dame always does this, and especially when they have pretty good teams, they have pretty solid teams, and like you said, they're still coming together, Omar. This feels like one of those games. This feels like one of those games where Notre Dame kind of wins when they're not supposed to. And then they'll end up probably losing to Penn State or somebody and then lose another couple games. But this is like their big win. Neither team has really played anybody thus far in the season. So this is like the first big game. They're, like you said, they're going to be playing in South Bend, right?
South Bend.
Yeah, so I think Notre Dame's going to play. It's a primetime game. This is kind of the game that Notre Dame comes up and wins and does well, and the defense, gets some turnovers. I don't think Notre Dame, this may push them into the top 5, but depending on what happens for everybody else. And then, of course, I think they'll just falter again and lose 2 or 3 more games. But this will be the big game for Notre Dame this year that they may get a big win. I just feel like they're going to take out Ohio State, and this might be a kind of an upset. I agree with Canteen on this one. All right. Any other games you want to talk about before we move to NFL? Nothing.
just as a quick
All right,
note,
let's go.
nothing that I want to go deep into. Oh, my bad.
Right. You bet.
No,
Nothing that you want to go
there's
deep.
2 games in the Pac-12. Nothing that I'm going to go into. But
Okay.
Utah and UCLA, number 11 versus number 25, and then Washington State versus Oregon State, which I believe is 14 versus 20 something. So 2 top 25 games there as well.
Is this Mel still? Phone number from last coaching staff. That's why he's winning, but give him time. He will look like your Broncos.
Oh.
Is that Mel?
That's Mel, Jake. You and Mel got this
Well,
thing
you
going back.
Broncos,
That's
bro.
Mel. Woo!
Guy is such a hater, man. This guy is such a hater. His Lions better get back on track, man. I had
Mel,
them
you
winning
wanna
that
come on
dang
the
whole
show,
entire
man?
seed.
Come on the show, Mel. I'll send you the link, man. Let me know. All right, hey. Let's go a little NFL here. So, it's kind of one of those questions, you kind of hit right now, but which 0-2 team is already in trouble? The season is all but over based on how they played, injuries, etc. We'll go around the horn. Canteen, give me a team that's 0-2. And, that's not necessarily the end of the season, but it's not good when you start out 0-2. Only 17% make the playoffs starting out at 0-2. But the team is 0-2. I think I know where you're going, Canteen. But which team is already 0-2 and they're in trouble? The season is just pretty much over. Go ahead, Canteen.
Man, listen. I really got 2 teams, man.
Okay, give us your first thoughts on the team that really you think it's over for them.
It's the Broncos, man. Nothing against Jake. I mean, it's just the way things have fizzled out for them, man. They've had a tough break for the first 2 weeks, man. First 2 weeks have been bad. I mean, you go back to opening week. They could have beat. Who did y'all lose to week 1? They lost to
The bum-ass Raiders.
They lost to the Raiders by 1. And then last night they lost a close game to the Commanders, man, by 2. So I mean, they haven't been bad margins of losing. They just lose close games.
Lost a total of 3 points.
I mean, for the rest of the way for these guys, I mean, they got the Miami Dolphins this week. It ain't looking promising. And then who do y'all got after the Miami Dolphins? I think y'all got like a bye maybe.
The
or
Bears.
something. Y'all got the Bills. Y'all got the Bills.
No, the Bears. We got the Bears.
The Bears and the Bills. Then the Bills.
We'll have the Jets after.
Yeah.
We
I
don't got
don't
the
know,
Bills.
take
You
it
get
look
a little bit of a break there.
And my other team, man, I'm really shocked.
Well, don't take everybody's team. What if somebody else wants that team?
Oh, well, somebody else may pick this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, so caveat off of that one. But you can caveat off of them, though, if you want to.
Yeah, go, all right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, and then we can caveat anybody picked. But what do you think, Omar? What's a team that 0-2 and the season's over already? I mean, the Jets is obvious, but I mean, what do you think, Omar? Other than the Jets?
Yeah, I was just waiting very, very patiently, but in my mind, I was like, pick me. I've got good answers.
Hey, you can bring the Broncos too if you want.
Oh no! Wait a second. I've got one for you. This is going to be one of the greatest things I've ever said in my life is about to come out of my mouth right now.
Oh wow!
I have, including the team that Ken just said, I have 3 teams for you that seasons are over at 0-2.
Okay, just pick one though.
Ooh.
Okay, that's fine. I'll save the third one for you.
I'll save the other ones until everybody goes.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with Ken. Broncos are definitely done. That's it. The Sean Payton experiment with Russell Wilson's over. Get it done.
Hey.
Go out. Go back and grab somebody else. Who'd you have? Go grab any of those whack quarterbacks you've had in the past 10 years since Peyton Manning. That's over. Also, this is going to make me very happy to say Brandon Staley and the Chargers are done for as well.
They're done.
So, both of the Raiders, Steelers rivals, I am very happy to say, are done for the year. Oh, and I was on a show last week where the Chargers fan stated that if Brandon Staley goes 0-4 before the bye, he will be fired, and Kellen Moore will be input as the head coach.
Wow, the Chargers season is all but done, huh? Okay, that's a good one. I thought about them as well. Because so many aspirations and hopes for them this year with getting Kellen Moore. But I told you all about Kellen Moore from the beginning. Anyway, go ahead, Jake. I will caveat off anybody's picks. What's your pick? 0-2 team that the season is it's over.
It's a little sad.
Wait, can he choose the Broncos too?
He can choose the Broncos too. He can choose his own team. I doubt that he will, but
the only reason I'm picking this team is because I'm hearing that there was a re-aggravation to his injury.
Oh,
I'm a little worried about the Bengals right now. And I think they're the only team that can toe-to-toe beat Kansas City other than the Dolphins. But I think that he re-aggravated his calf, I want to say, and they're saying Joe Burrow is not looking good right now. So it's a depressing first 2 weeks.
Right. Didn't you pick them to win or something?
I had them in the AFC Championship game. Yeah. Don't worry, Miami's still looking legit. But they're gonna scare. They're scaring me a little right now, and
right.
They have a tough schedule.
Okay.
Poor guys. Okay.
Yeah, and who called that early in preseason? I said this injury is going to linger throughout the season. This
you and Canteen. Canteen said that as well.
Yeah, I said this injury is going to linger. Yeah, me and Canteen were all over that one. Had said this look more serious, and it appears that it is going to be.
You also picked the Jets to do something.
Yeah.
Man, hold on, man.
Okay, so let me pick mine, and I thought about the Bengals, and I thought about the Chargers. Omar, I think those were 2 teams. And I even slipped in the Broncos in there. And I was thinking, man, the season's over for them. But I think the one I'm leaning towards is the Chargers. I was leaning toward the Chargers because Brandon Staley is supposed to be a defensive guy. And his defense looks horrible. They spent most of their money on defense. And the defense looks terrible. They brought in Kellen Moore, who everybody thought was this great offensive coordinator.
He's horrible.
And they're not looking good so far on offense or on defense. The offense has played halfway decent. Herbert hasn't looked great under this new offense. And I think this is probably the beginning of the end for the Chargers. I agree with Omar. I think They may end up finishing last. I'm not even sure. I have to look at their schedule. But, man, the Chargers look terrible. I told y'all about Kellen Moore. That he's not that great of an offensive coordinator. People pumped him up just because the Cowboys got rid of him. And you see how the Cowboys are doing without him spectacularly, which we'll talk about later. But they got Minnesota coming up, who needs a win desperately. And they looked pretty good last week, even though they lost. If they wouldn't have had all those turnovers, they could have been in that game, really won that game. But with the Eagles. And then they got Las Vegas, which, who knows how Las Vegas playing by then, give them another game. Then they got Dallas, and then they got Kansas City. So, I mean, to be honest, they could be, by week 7, they could be 1-5. It could be just Las Vegas or Minnesota as their only win going into Chicago the next week. So, I think this is the beginning of the end for them, for the Chargers. I agree with Omar. I think that's what that is. All right, so y'all want to caveat anybody on anybody's? I kind of caveat on a couple of people, but I don't think that the Broncos is supposed to them. But that's my caveat on the Broncos. What do you said you have?
It's over for the Broncos. It doesn't matter then.
Okay. You said another.
Jake, go call Sean Payton. Tell him to find another quarterback. And tight ends, since Greg Dulcich is out.
Any caveats?
New England Patriots are nothing, baby. They can't even score.
No. Wait.
They can't do anything. Mac Jones is trash.
Patriots. Oh.
New England Patriots.
They're done. Okay.
Now, Patriots look halfway decent last night.
They did. They played pretty good
game
against the Eagles.
Miami only edged them by 7 now.
I mean, I think Miami played a bad game, really. I don't know. I think it was the other way around. I think Miami had a bad game. But I do agree with you, Flo. I think Staley's done for there. He is a defensive coach that's just not done his job. So.
I think this team, man. I'll add this team right now because I think they're going to lose. They might be winning right now. They're losing. Everybody was so high on them Steelers. I think once they lose tonight, they'll be 0-2 as well. And I can't wait to make fun of that Mike Tomlin bullcrap that y'all throw out there. That man, he's never had a losing season. That bullshit.
Come on. Hey, okay, we'll
see. I mean,
we'll see
that was Flo, but me and Ken did ride with him. But that was Flo.
Hey, it's still a young season. I believe in the Steelers. They're up 7-3 right now, so we'll see what happens with them and the Browns. We'll talk about that game in a minute. Oh,
do you want to give you a prediction?
Hey, so
hey man, I was going to caveat.
Oh, you're going to say another one? Okay, go ahead. Caveat then.
Before you jumped off, man, the Bengals, man.
Yeah, we talked about this, man. That injury looked worse to me. It felt like a bad sign.
In their next 3-4 weeks, I mean, they got the Rams, Titans. They'll beat the Cardinals. Y'all's going to play them tough. 49ers and Bills. They got the next 4 or 5 weeks going to be tough on them, man.
Yeah. I mean, the Bengals could be a decent pick.
Yeah, back in training camp.
Yeah. Go ahead, Omar.
No, go ahead. Finish your statement, Flo. My bad.
No, I'm just saying it just looks like a bad sign for them, especially because of Joe Burrow. I mean, that's their key person on offense. You can't lose a quarterback like that, and to me, they should have just held him out for a couple more weeks, let him get healthy instead of trying to force him to get into game 1. I thought that he might miss the first 3 or 4 weeks, and that probably was a better idea than let him miss 3 or 4 weeks because you're still 0-2 at this point, and you may be 0-3. I don't know, but you should have held him out the first few weeks and let him get fully healthy and then try and make a run after that. But, I mean, I guess hindsight is 20/20 at this point. Go ahead, Omar.
Yeah, no, I'm just agreeing with you and Ken because I remember when he had that injury in training camp, I said that I didn't think it was that bad because it just didn't look that bad to me. But we should have known that the more time they kept him out and the more that he wasn't coming back and everything, like we should have known that he just wasn't right. And you're completely right. He just has not shown that he's right. And and we know that players will try to compensate for things like calves or ankles or things like that they will try to play with and compensate, which will make their throws bad, especially for quarterbacks. Your motion, your Dak Prescott little,
even moving around in the pocket
doesn't work very well. You know what I mean?
Moving around in the pocket, slight movements in the pocket. You don't realize how much you use your calf muscles just to make small, quick movements. And so, yeah, you could be right, Jake. This could be the beginning for the Bengals. I'm gonna hold out hope, but man, without
I'm worried about him.
Without Burrow,
That's the
man,
best quarterback, and without him, he can't do much.
Bad news.
It ain't looking good
for sure. All right. Any other caveats off the 0-2 that we're talking about? They ain't gonna make it. If not, we'll move to the next question. So, like I said, 17% of the time, 0-2 teams make the playoffs. Only 17% of the time. So, which 0-2 team do you have, if you have one, that you think will still make the playoffs based on what you've seen and everything? Is there an 0-2 team that you think, hey, they're 0-2, but they still got a chance at the playoffs? If you believe that's true. Anybody? Let's go to you, Jake. I know you probably got one. Probably your Broncos, but
come on, this is the biggest thing I'm gonna have to say right here.
Okay.
Russ, this is your last game. This Dolphins game is your last game.
Whoa.
Now hold on. I believe if we do not beat the Dolphins, he will be benched, and Jared Stidham will start. And I have us coming still to win a wild card spot, because I believe if you saw the 41-0 beatdown we did to the Rams in the preseason, it was Jared Stidham that was throwing that ball left and right. The confidence is shot right now with Russ. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with Russ. He's not looking the same. I don't know if Ciara is just holding back love or what's going on. I feel very sad.
Right.
But
I feel like you had love held back from you when you were a child. This is ridiculous. You want Jared Stidham in there like he's going to be any better than Russell Wilson? They are both
Jared
some
Stidham,
trash.
I'm telling you right now, Sean
Jared
Payton
Stidham was our backup last year.
I'm telling you right now, Omar, they paid a lot of money for Jared Stidham for a backup. And it wasn't just to see him be a backup. If Russ does not perform against the Dolphins, I'm telling you right now, Jared Stidham will start, and we will go on a winning streak with Jared Stidham.
Okay.
Sean Payton, I am in your ear. I am saying what everybody needs to hear. I got you, brother. Sean Payton is doing wonders at coaching. It's Russ. We were up 21-3 yesterday. That's all Russ, man. He didn't know how to hold it. And Vance Joseph sucks. Fire him. Fire him, damn it.
Okay, let's go. So we all kind of knew where Jake was going with the 0-2. But he makes a valid argument. I understand. I can't believe he's turned his back on Russell Wilson. Super Bowl goals. When Russell Wilson showed up
last year,
he was yelling Super Bowl goals. You got one. It seemed like you didn't like any of the 0-2 teams, Omar. You got one that you think can still make the playoffs?
No, actually, so I'm going to completely contradict everything I just said about the Bengals. If Joe Burrow can actually get his calf healthy, the Bengals have a good enough team to where they can come back and make the playoffs, especially because the end of their schedule is a little bit on the weaker side. But if not them, then the other team I would probably look at is the Vikings. I'm surprised the Vikings are 0-2. Kirk Cousins and Jay Jettas are doing their thing. Justin Jefferson is the first player to have 250-yard plus games in his first two games this season. Kirk Cousins has over 700 yards within the first two games. So that could be another team I could see coming back.
So you took two teams. Come on, Omar. Give somebody a chance. All right, go ahead. You got one. You got one. Ken?
Man, the team I want to say depends on how the AFC East balances out, man. I think right now the team in the driver's seat is Miami. If the Bills can hold up and be substantial throughout the duration of the season, don't be surprised. The team that I think that's gonna sneak in, don't sleep on the Patriots. The Patriots got a chance to sneak into the playoffs as a wild card.
Wow. Okay. Patriots.
The Patriots.
What do you like about them that you think they could still make it?
Belichick, man, don't sleep on Belichick. I mean, Matt Jones, decent quarterback. They got decent surrounding role players in the organization, and I like the offense coordinator, Cutcliffe. I like Cutcliffe. Cutcliffe came out of Alabama.
We need to get a drug test for Jake, apparently. But
listen, man, listen, Flo. This week, the Patriots got the Jets, Cowboys, Saints, Raiders, and Bills. I think they'll win at least 3 out of those next few games.
They don't have a quarterback.
Oh, okay.
So
who
you
is
take Matt
Ruben
Jones,
Fonseca? Who's
or
that guy?
Russell Wilson, or Matt Jones. Russell Wilson or Jones right now.
That's
I'll
Omar's
take
dad.
Jarrett Stidham.
That's Omar's dad.
Who?
Pick.
I'll take Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah. Okay.
Who would you take, Flo? Who would you take?
I mean, you guys
Come
already
on,
kind
man.
of picked who I was thinking. Cincinnati,
get
of course,
confidence up, man.
if Burrow's healthy, they got a shot. But I'm going to go with
Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Minnesota. I just think that the AFC East is it's too tough. Even with Aaron Rodgers out, that Jets defense is pretty tough. Buffalo is going to be kind of up and down, but they'll play well when they play New England. I just don't think New England's got enough on offense. They're kind of like the Jets. They're a little better at quarterback. They got a really good defense. And so they're probably going to play at close games. I just think it's just real competitive. Miami looks like they may have run away with this division, depending on how Buffalo does. But I got to go with Minnesota. I like the way they played there, even though they've lost both their games. They played well against Tampa and Philadelphia. They played really. I mean, they kept it close despite like 4 or 5 turnovers. I mean, if they can just clean up the offense, their turnovers on offense and special teams. Brian Flores has that defense playing pretty well. They're kind of a bend don't break defense. They give up a lot of yards between the 20s, but they, when it comes to the point, sometimes they bow up and they hold people. They got a couple, they were able to get some few turnovers. I think the more that Brian Flores is in this defense, the better they're going to be as the season goes on. So I think the Minnesota Vikings, because defense was kind of their detriment last year, if the offense can clean up some of the mistakes they've been making, just simple mistakes, I think that the Vikings could make a run for the playoffs as well. I agree with that one. All right, let's go. Let's talk about these games.
I want to apologize for taking your picks, like to say. But I would like to say that I appreciate you agreeing with everything I've said today.
Yeah, well, you are the professor, and I defer to the professor. I've learned from the professor, even though you can get a little emotional sometimes, and then you're no longer the professor once you get that emotional state. But when you're cogent analysis and you're in your right mind, I like your analysis. All right, so let's talk about Broncos real quick, because we kind of spent a lot of time with Broncos with Jake. What happened in this game? Anything good that you can take away from this game? Because we know what Jake thinks. Omar, anything that they can take away, or you truly believe it's over for them, for the Broncos, with this Commanders game that they lost in dramatic fashion?
Hold on.
Hey, keep going.
The Broncos are the trash of the NFL. Honestly, there is no chance for them to come back. I'm not joking. I'm being serious right now. Russell Wilson is, and I did not want to say this at all because I thought that with how good he had been, that he could keep it going. But Russell Wilson is just showing that he does not have it anymore. Sean Payton as a coach, I still think he's a little rusty coming back from his year's layoff. Could he prove to be good in the end? Sure. Is that going to be with Jarrett Stidham? No way. So if it's not going to be with Russ and it's not going to be with Jarrett Stidham, it ain't happening this year, then you're going to have to go find a free agent, and you better hope that it's somebody Sean Payton knows, or it ain't going to happen next year either. The Broncos are done. Jerry Jeudy is still hurt. Cortland Sutton can't catch a cold, and Javonte Williams couldn't run through a soft silk curtain.
And you think that was evident from this game with the Commanders?
Yeah, I mean, even Patrick Surtain was getting taken by Terry McLaurin. So, when your best player is getting beat
he was
on defense, you just doesn't got it.
Okay. You got anything on this game, Canteen? Broncos and Commanders? Any caveats?
Hey man, y'all make. Hey, to be honest, man, the Broncos made Sam Howell look like a superstar.
No. He
Howell
looked like a star because I said he was going to be a star.
Listen what I'm saying now. On this game, 27 for 30, 27 39, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns. Y'all make Sam Howell
The defense supposed to be their strength.
look like a star. Y'all made that Robinson kid. Was that Flo?
I said, when the
And
defense supposed to be
McLaurin.
their
Y'all
strength.
made the Commanders look good. The Commanders are undefeated, right? They're 2-0. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you guys a fun fact. All 5 of the teams that Deion Sanders played for in the NFL, they're all undefeated. All of them are undefeated.
Okay, that's okay. I don't know what that means for Deion.
That was just a fun fact.
Oh,
I like the stat.
Okay,
I like the stat. I like the fun fact.
Okay, it's a fun fact. Okay, go ahead. You have something else?
But do I think that the Broncos? Y'all need to sign a quarterback or bring Jarrett Stidham up to the helm, man. I don't think that Russell Wilson gonna take y'all to the distance.
Okay. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to try and be fair here and give a little bit of cogent analysis because that's what I do. The Broncos have a chance. They lost this game. But I don't put it all on Russell Wilson. He had 300 yards passing. He had 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception. He looked decent. He looked more like the Russell Wilson of past. He even ran it for 56 yards. And I think that you have some bright spots, even though you don't have your full plethora of wide receivers. Mims had 113 yards. He looked pretty decent. I think if I don't know if it's that serious, because you're saying that if he doesn't do well, I think Russell looks good. I can't put this game on Russell completely. I think he played really well. He looks better. He's moving around better. He had a better game. I just think this is one of those games that you just can't make those, you make those little mistakes. It's going to cost you an end because it's going to be a close game. And I think me and Jake both said that I thought the Commanders were going to be a little better. I didn't think they were going to be a playoff team, but I thought they would be decent. I thought Sam Howell was still a year away, but maybe he's not a year away. Maybe he's ready to go right now. But I think that the next game for the Broncos, probably the next few weeks for the Broncos, is going to be key. This is a key game for them. I feel like they're going to play Miami close. I feel they're going to play Miami pretty close. I wouldn't be surprised with an upset there. But if they go 0-3, because the Broncos really need this game. Go down 0-3 would be devastating. They have 0 chance. Okay. That's fair. But I think they have a chance against Miami. I think this game will be closer. I don't know if they'll win it, but I think the Broncos will play this game close. And they're in Miami, but this is a big game for them. If they lose this game, then I will say the season's probably over. 0-3 is a big, big deficit to start out the season, even though they have Chicago and the Jets next. But then they go to Kansas City, Green Bay, and then Kansas City again. So they cannot afford to go 0-3. And then, because if they can at least win one game, 1-2, then they can play Chicago and the Jets. Chicago doesn't look good at all, and the Jets, of course, don't have a quarterback. And so those are winnable games for sure. So if they can go 1-3 and then win those 2 games, they'll be sitting better to lose one of the Kansas City games. It wouldn't hurt as much losing one of those Kansas City games and maybe pulling one out.
Because they're not going to win October the 12th. They're not going to win Thursday Night Football October the 12th. They ain't
for sure. Yeah. But anyway, that's what I think about that game. So let's talk about Omar's team, the Raiders. Let's let Omar go. This is his team. What do you think about this game that the Raiders played? They won their first game against the lowly Broncos right now. And then they didn't look too good against the Raiders. I felt like they would maybe they'll look better. What are your initial thoughts on the Raider game, Omar?
Yeah, I'd like to just skip this game completely and not talk about it. The Raiders are trash. The Raiders are almost as much trash as the Broncos are trash.
Okay.
They will both be fighting for the most trash team in the AFC West, with the Chargers giving them a late push until they somehow win a late game, late season to not be. All joking aside, the Raiders don't look good, y'all. While Devontae Adams is an all-pro and had a really good game before getting hurt, and while he is cleared from the concussion, you still got Jacoby Myers out with the concussion. Hunter Renfrow still received no balls, reckless, received no passes at all, right? The tight end, Michael Mayer, still hasn't come around. Tyree Wilson had a horrible first game with a 46.5 PFF rating. Didn't play much better the second game. Max Crosby is about the only thing good out there on the defense. You know what? I take that back. The secondary did play better this weekend with Marcus Epps, Marcus Peters, and Ja'Cory Bennett. But the defense is not good enough. I'm sorry. I knew they were going to get blasted by the Bills. I don't remember what I claimed the score to be, but I think I picked a 34 to something low score, 17 or something. I knew it was going to be a blowout. The Raiders aren't good. Jimmy Garoppolo is not good. He's average at best. When he had a good squad around him with the 49ers, they could win games. It's not that way with the Raiders. They're not going to win games. And again, you're going to have to try to get out of that Devontae contract at some point if you want to. I wouldn't, but I mean, he's going to want to get out, and you're going to have to try to get something for him. And I don't know. It's a mess. It's an experiment I never wanted, and I hope Josh McDaniels gets fired as soon as possible.
Okay.
All valid points.
You hold no hope. Anybody else got anything to go off for? I mean, he kind of covered it, but
they are who we thought they were. They suck. 38-10 tells you something. They shouldn't have even beat us week 1. This is what frustrates me with the Broncos, because we lose to bum teams like that. The Raiders had no fight whatsoever. They look like trash. They look like what Omar looks like every day. Trash.
Hey, let's not get personal.
I'm getting mad at Omar right now.
Hey, who the Raiders got this week, man?
They got Pittsburgh coming up. That's a winnable game.
On Sunday, they got Sunday Night Football. Sunday night.
No, no. That is not only a winnable game. I actually believe the Raiders will win that game. A Sunday night game in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
I think Kenny Pickett
They'll win that one, yeah.
Especially if they were to lose tonight and go 0-2, then they definitely would lose to the Raiders.
Right.
If they win tonight,
Omar,
then they have a slight.
You're gonna beat the Steelers?
I do believe so, yes.
You better stop that, Omar. Be honest with us. They're going 1-16, aren't they?
I believe the Steelers. I believe that. No, that's not happening. They're going to win at least 4 games, at least. They'll be right there with the Broncos. The Broncos might have 5, but we'll see.
You are so lucky that y'all beat us last week, because I'd be eating it up right now.
That means we on the tiebreaker. So all that means is y'all have to suck bad enough to lose as many games as we do, and you'll be the worst.
Hey, I feel like Omar's only solace this year for the Raiders is if they beat the Broncos twice, and you can brag about that all year long. If they beat the Broncos twice, I think that'll be Omar's consolation prize.
Kryptonite.
That'll be his consolation prize. All right. Anything else? You got anything, Canteen, for this game? Canteen?
Let's get to the best game of the night.
The Cowboys and the Jets. Let's go. The Cowboys versus the Jets. Game, they played halfway decent for about 2.5 quarters, and then it was pretty much over. The Cowboys kind of took over, and that's just kind of what happened. You want to get mine and Canteen's first, or you guys want to go first?
Go ahead and glow
Canteen.
this fake stuff.
I gotta hit the bathroom. Let me go real quick.
All right, go ahead, Omar. We'll let Ken go, and then I'll go, and then we'll see what Jake.
Yeah, I just gotta hit the bathroom. I know this is y'all's team, so I'll leave this for y'all. And I'm gonna say what Jake just said. The Cowboys are who I thought they were. They are out here, complete team, butt whooping opponents. Micah Parsons looking like Lawrence Taylor times 3. Let's go. That's all I gotta say. All right.
Omar, Flo's still. Omar, Flo's paying you, man.
Hey, Flo.
Yeah, go ahead, Canteen.
Man, Prescott, 31 for 38, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pollard got 25 carries, 72 yards, and CeeDee Lamb, 11 receptions and 143 yards, man. Our offense was clicking on all cylinders, but our defense. I loved, man. Listen to what I said. I loved how Michael Parsons was rushing off the edge. He looked really, really good. What's the other guy's name? Hurst. Hurst looked really, really good, man. Stephon Gilmore.
Hurst.
I think right now we're probably the most complete team besides the 49ers in the NFC right now. That's how I feel. We are complete. What we talked about on Saturday when we did the other show with other gentlemen.
Right.
Man, everything we talked about, the offense showed up, the play, the defense showed up, and we are a well put together team. We don't need Kellen Moore. I think Mike McCarthy's making great decisions by calling plays.
Right.
Dak don't need to do a lot.
I told you that. We don't need Kellen Moore.
I told you, Dak don't need to do a whole lot. Dak don't need to do less. Dak just needs to do just enough to sustain. I like the Cowboys in the NFC Championship right now.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Go ahead, Jay.
So, just to burn Jake's ears a little more, this game, it kind of went how I thought. I thought the Jets would keep this game a little bit close early. Their defense is a solid defense, but eventually we wore them down. I think I do like that we did do well on offense, and we got to show some of our offense this time. The last game we didn't really have to. It was just such of a blowout. But I like that he did have 255 yards, two touchdowns, and no interceptions. I like that. I don't like that he threw it 38 times. I think that's a little high for him. I feel like we should have ran a little more, but I get it. You want to kind of let him kind of. I like the fact that we played well on offense against a really good defense. This is a solid defense, and I like the fact that Prescott was able to play well and not get any costly turnovers or anything like that. I don't like he threw it so much, but at the same time, we need to keep him around that 30-32 mark for the most of the season. You know, this is okay for me, but I like that they opened up the offense a little bit more. And the defense looks just as dominant, but of course they don't have a quarterback. So I'm impressed, you know, because we see how the Giants did. They were able to come back and win a game that they were losing by double digits. And Daniel Jones, like I told y'all, would bounce back. He looks better. He looked a lot better in this game. And so that makes me feel better about the Giants, that maybe they're a decent team, that we just made them look bad. And so I just like overall we're doing really well. I'm looking forward to future games, and I want to see how we do against other teams with decent offenses, right? A better offense. The Giants were okay. We know that the Jets were compromised without their starting quarterback. Aaron Rodgers lost for the season, of course. And so I want to see how we do maybe against New England. They have a decent quarterback. Arizona, you just don't know. They looked pretty good against the Giants for a little bit, and then so we'll see what happens there. I think San Francisco is going to be the big matchup to really see where we are against another top NFC team. That will be a big matchup on what is that, Sunday night? What's October 8th?
Right, 2 weeks from now. 2-3 weeks from now.
Sunday night football looks like. So, yeah, that'll be a big key matchup for the NFC. I feel like we should win. I feel like the New England game could be a trap game just because everybody's looking towards San Francisco. So that could be a trap game for us, kind of looking past New England. New England at that point could be, have a losing record, and so or still have a losing record. So we'll see what happens. I think I felt really good. I'm still trying to tone down my optimism, but I felt really good. The defense does look like it could be the number one defense throughout the year, but we'll see what happens. Jake, go ahead and praise my Cowboys. Go ahead.
No, I'm about to speak honesty. What I've seen the past 2 weeks is you played the Giants, who I saw the Cardinals whooping them 28-0. They just don't have a decent enough defense, and we know they're tanking to get Caleb Williams. And last week or yesterday, you played Zach Wilson, who is worse than me playing quarterback right now. So I see nothing legit from the Cowboys yet.
Nothing
In
legit.
fact, this is the same exact Cowboys of the past years prior, where they beat bad teams. You're lucky that your schedule is just made for y'all. I guess Jerry Jones pays Roger Goodell how he wants the schedule made, because now you get to play the Cardinals, who are tanking next week, and the Patriots, who haven't been good since 2021. So the thing I'm saying to you is October 8th, you better put your big boy pants on. You better put your shoulder pads on, because you're playing a team that's beaten y'all twice, not once, but twice in the playoffs. And they will show you exactly who y'all really are, and y'all will get stomped to the mud.
Wow.
Whoa.
Stop with this. I saw your podcast. That guy's all, y'all are all eating each other up on how great y'all are. Oh my gosh. Man, get out of here.
We are great. Even Omar knows we're great. All right, so any other caveats on this game? So we've talked about a few other key games throughout the week. Any games you guys want to touch on before I pick a couple? Maybe you'll pick the same ones. But this past weekend, anything y'all saw from any of these games that y'all want to touch on? I know we touched on a few of them just based on the fact of the 0-2 start. I was going to touch on
Falcons Green Bay, bro.
Falcons Green Bay.
That was a hell of a game, bro.
Right.
That was a hell of a game.
Two mediocre teams facing each other.
The Falcons came back after 2 touchdowns. Jay, what are you talking about? And that's the best I've ever seen Desmond Ridder play.
They lose this week. They lose this week.
So
the Falcons will play the Lions, and the Lions shouldn't have lost last week. Yesterday, they shouldn't have lost.
They should have lost to the Chargers. They lost to the Chargers, right? No, they lost to Seattle.
They lost to the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
The Lions will win next week.
Hey,
they'll bounce
whoever
back.
in the comments, hey, what's his name? He just carrying the Falcons on his back with the run game, man. I mean, let's look at the Falcons numbers, man, on that game right there, man. 24-25. Hey,
You played the Packers, man. They're rebuilding.
The Packers look pretty good.
The Packers are rebuilding right now, man. Come on.
If you look at Love's numbers, man, he went 14 for 25, 151 yards, 3 touchdowns. Desmond Ridder went 19 for 32, 237 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But the bulk of what the Falcons did yesterday was carried by Bijan Robinson for 19 carries, 124 yards. And the Falcons got a pretty decent defense as well. Grady Jarrett, one of the defensive tackles, defensive, whatever you want to say, and they look good.
You got
I think your heart's too into the Falcons. I think
no.
legitly.
The Falcons are the sleeper team for the NFC South. I think the Falcons will win the NFC South.
What do you think about this game, Omar, that Dan talked about with the Falcons and the Packers? Omar.
Yeah, I actually I picked the Falcons to win this game at home. I did think that Desmond Ridder did play better. I do think that the Falcons have a good setup there. Arthur Smith is a really good coach, and they have the pieces in place that if Desmond Ridder can get better and learn to grow with Drake London and have Bijan Robinson balling out as he is right now, their defense is a young, hard-hitting defense that plays till the whistle is blown. So next week, that's my feature game to look towards is the Lions and Falcons. I know we're going to talk about that later, but that's two teams that are just going to get after each other. Two offenses that are going to be, getting a little more dynamic. Not as good as their defenses, but that's definitely the game I'm looking towards. And yeah, I think the Falcons are a good young team, I have to say.
Right. So you think, man, the youngest you think Ridder could be their future, or he's just kind of a stopgap?
No, he's a stopgap. He's not. My gosh, he's not even good.
Okay.
Bijan is carrying that team right now, and you know that too, Canteen.
Now you're pushing it a little bit. I think Jordan Love. I think Ridder and Jordan Love will both be good game managers. I believe Ridder can run the ball obviously a little better than Jordan Love. But if you want me to say he's going to be Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, or something like that, no, not even close.
He won't be a Sam
I think Desmond Ridder is a good game manager that will be there for a few years until they find somebody better. Oh my God! If you don't stop with the Sam Howell, Lord help me.
Didn't he look good, Omar? I got to be honest.
He looked pretty good. I was thinking he was a year away, but
I
he
mean,
did look good.
he looked good, but come on, man. What are we talking about? Just because he had one good game, we're going to hype him up to be the next. I mean, no, I'm not believing it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to believe Sam Howell as the Commander's savior until Joe Theismann tells me he is. Damn it.
Yeah.
He looked good.
All right. Hey, so real quick, I want to touch on this game. The Seahawks and the Lions. The Seahawks bounced back and beat the Detroit Lions. The Seahawks, didn't look too good in week 1.
Nor in week 2.
Geno Smith didn't look good.
Geno looked good, man.
Expiration date, that's what I thought was happening. They lose to the Rams 30-13. Then they come back in overtime and win and beat what some people are considering the leaders in their division to Detroit. I want to see what Mel thinks about this one if he's still on the line. With Detroit and the Seahawks, losing to the Seahawks. What do you guys think about this game? Does this show that maybe Geno isn't quite done and the Seahawks can still be a viable team in the NFC?
They'll still win their division.
Okay.
They'll still win their division. But I had them winning the division. They're going to win it because I think San Francisco's going to reel a little.
Yeah, he had him over the 49ers.
Yeah, I had him over. But Geno is just Geno, man. Geno is just Geno. That team is going to lose in the first round. I think the Lions showed you some heart. I think the only reason they lost is because Jared Goff had a shaky pick 6 towards the end, and he still drove down the field both times within very limited time and went down the field. And that's why that's the best quarterback in the NFC right there. That just showed me.
Jared Goff.
I wish the way that overtime is, it's like the playoffs. Because he didn't have a chance to show himself.
What did you just say? Oh my.
Hold on. I know everybody had Jalen Hurts there. Did we not see what Jalen Hurts has been doing? He's not looking so well. I'm putting Jared Goff up number 1.
We had that conversation about those quarterbacks. The payday, we had that conversation about it.
Just like, hey, actually, go ahead, Ken, because I think you're going to say the same thing I am. Go ahead, Ken.
Go ahead.
He looked good. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to tell you, he looked good. You had a limited time. He drove down the field back to back. I hate the overtime rules in the regular season because in regular season, if you score a touchdown, the game is over. He gets that ball back. I think they go for 2. You know my boy Dan Campbell. He's going to go for the guts. He's going to go for the gusto.
Okay.
The gusto.
So you say both these teams will win the division, and Jared Goff is the best quarterback in the NFC.
I've said that, and y'all known I said what's going to happen, and he's showing it right now.
Well, how about this? How about this? Jared Goff is exactly who we know him to be, just like you said about Geno Smith. They've both been in the league long enough that we know who they are as quarterbacks. We know their track records. We know what they can do. Jared Goff is a game manager that if he doesn't throw interceptions, can help his team win the game. Does that mean that he is going to be the catalyst for them winning the Super Bowl? No, it would be the defense. It would be the role players. If you're gonna have Jared Goff, he's gonna be a game managing Trent Dilfer sort of, winning the Super Bowl type quarterback.
Okay, I think Jared Goff is a little better than that. I think if you give him time, he's pretty good. He's pretty solid. He's maybe like a Kirk Cousins 2.0. I mean, he's pretty good as long as you get him some time. He throws a pretty good ball. He can make all the throws. I don't know if he's the best quarterback in the NFC. I would put him probably number 4, maybe 3 or 4 in the NFC. But yeah, and I remember you talk about Jalen Hurts. I told you about Jalen Hurts, Jake. I told all of y'all about he's going to have a down year.
I said he was going to have. I said he was going to have a step back. Also, that's why he's not the best quarterback in the NFC.
Okay.
Flo, who's the best in the NFC then? Quarterback, right?
The best
Don't
quarterback.
put Dak in there, please.
Oh man,
you're gonna put Dak.
Detroit.
You're gonna put Dak.
I think for that game, man, Detroit.
I mean,
Detroit
Dak has got to be top 3 though. Dak has to be top 3.
What did he do? The reason they're winning right now is because they're making sure he doesn't touch the ball much. What are you talking about?
He threw it 38 times.
What are you talking about?
How many carries did Tony Pollard have?
had 20, I think.
He had 25.
Yeah.
20, yeah.
They're going to keep the ball away from him. I can't wait till they face a San Francisco team who's going to
30.
force him to win the game.
Yeah, but he had 38 passes. I agree that they shouldn't let him throw it too much, but how can you say that he's not one of the top quarterbacks? Jared Goff, other than St. Brown, doesn't have a good offense on his side. And he's still doing numbers like crazy.
Here's your hot take. Brock Purdy is the best quarterback in the NFC. Let's go.
Okay. Brock Purdy's
He's
there.
got too much of a good roster. It's hard to judge that.
I know.
I think Brock Purdy is there.
And the pocket passer, man.
I don't really think he is the best. I don't.
Yeah, I think Brock Purdy's up there in maybe the top 2 or 3. I like Matt Stafford. He's playing well right now. I told you that it would bounce back this year. And Jared Goff is probably in the 2, 3, 4, right in there. And you got to put Dak in there. You have to put Dak in there. He hasn't turned the ball over. He's played well. He's managed the game. You got
top 4.
Yeah. And you still got to put Jalen Hurts.
Those other 3 you just rated, I'll put Prescott at 4.
Yeah, and you still got to put Jalen Hurts in there. I think he hasn't been as good as he was last year, but at the same time, they're still winning games. He's still coming up when they need it, as far as making the team, driving the team down the field, and coming up with plays and scores when they need them. So I can't totally dismiss him, but I know he's not going to have as great a year as last year. But yeah, I think Jalen Hurts is still there in the top 4 as well, 3 or 4. That would be. I would put Goff probably 3 or 4 in the NFC.
The end of the season, y'all be saying it. Don't worry.
Okay, maybe we will. We'll see. All right. So, any other games y'all guys want to touch on before we move on? Any games that happened this you got another game that you want to touch on? I know we had some pretty decent games. I was going to say maybe not a game, but just a team. The Buccaneers are 2-0. Baker has looked pretty good. You guys think Buccaneers can make a run, or you think this is just kind of an anomaly for a 2-0 team at this point in the Bucs?
Who they played? They played the Bears yesterday. Who they played before the Bears, though?
Played Minnesota. It was a close game against them, too.
That was close in Minnesota. They beat the Bears down pretty good. I don't think Baker Mayfield can take them the distance, though. I don't think so.
Okay, so you think Baker has an expiration date? Okay.
It'll be mid-season or towards the end of the season. They'll make the playoffs, something like that. But I wouldn't bank on it.
Baker's expiration date was 5 years ago.
Oh wow! Okay.
Baker's done, man. I'm glad that he's playing again a game manager role in Tampa, right? Getting the ball to your playmaker, Mike Evans, who has now had, I believe, 13 games over 200 yards in his career, or something crazy, or close to that, something crazy like that. Pay that man his money, Tampa Bay. He's clearly your franchise player. Stop playing with the man and his money. Give him his money. That being said, Baker Mayfield, while he has the weapons, he has the Chris Godwin. Their running game is still a little suspect with Rashawn White, although he has played well as a youngster. The defense is still there, which is what's really carrying them at this point and keeping them in the games. I just agree with Ken, though. I don't think Baker can take them to the playoffs.
Okay.
They'll lose next week to the Eagles.
I said I don't think he can go the distance.
Okay.
No, I agree.
No, I don't think he can. No.
I agree with you, Ken. I'm saying I don't either. I don't either.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's capable, though. I think he's capable. I could see them upsetting the Eagles next week. I can see them upsetting the Eagles next week.
No.
The Eagles have not looked as great, and this could be a game where the Bucs could, they may. I don't think they'll continue to win, even if they beat the Eagles, because they got the Saints after that, so they could lose that game and Detroit. And then the Atlanta game will be, who knows, that could be a good matchup. Then they got Buffalo. So they got a bunch of tough games. So that they need to, get another win either against Philly or New Orleans in the next couple of weeks going into the bye. So if they go into the bye 3-1, the Bucs, man, that could be a positive sign for them. They come out and play Detroit. I think the Bucs could make a run. I don't know. They look pretty good. I like the way they look. Baker's playing pretty good. He's got some weapons on the outside. the way they've played so far. What's the guy's name that he threw it to? Evans.
Mike
is
Evans.
a great.
Mike Evans,
Evans.
Great target on the outside. He's playing really well. He had 171 yards.
Justin Fields is a bust. They beat a bust. I remember when Canteen tried to say that he was going to show up this year. No, he practically sucks. So Justin Fields kind of showed us who he really is.
I mean, come on
He'll be
now.
playing in the XFL here soon.
Come on, don't do that. Don't.
I don't know.
Omar, he will.
He's not a bust yet.
Or he might be playing on the Raiders.
They have been.
Shots fired.
Maybe the Broncos actually need him since he's an upgrade to Russell Wilson. Anyways, and that's what I think he can
Rustin
become.
Jarrett did him.
I do believe he can become. You're so stupid. I do believe he can become a Russell Wilson 2.0, sort of, but a better rusher. Justin Fields just needs to be more consistent. He needs to find his receivers downfield. DJ Moore has been getting double covered. He wasn't able to find Darnell Mooney. The run game has not been helping him at all. But Justin Fields is a good quarterback. Justin Fields has plays where he runs 70 yards. If they can just figure out how to get that RPO option working properly for Justin Fields and DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, they are going to be a decent team. And I think Justin Fields could be in the future, probably not this year, but could be in the future, a MVP type NFL quarterback.
That's blasphemy. That right there was worse than anything I've ever said.
Hey,
that he could ever have an MVP type year.
Wow. Yeah,
that
I don't know about
that. Trash.
I mean, you expect him to take a step forward, and he hasn't really looked better.
And they got wide receivers too. They got wide receivers this offseason too for him. They got DJ Moore, and he still can't do nothing.
Your dad chiming in there, Omar.
That's what I saw too, Ruben.
It's been 2 games.
Your dad's
again,
a lot smarter than you, Omar.
It's been 2 games.
I don't know, but he hasn't seen marketed.
I said that. I said DJ Moore was double covered. He's not hitting his receiver.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at a couple of games for next week. Chargers and the Vikings. I think this is a key game for both of these. The Chargers are 0-2. The Vikings are also. Are they also 0-2? I can't remember.
Vikings 0-2. I think Chargers 0-2 as well.
Okay, so that's why I think
Vikings are 0-2. Yep.
Yeah, this is a big game for both.
It is a must-win for both of those teams. Man.
Yeah, this is
Chargers will win this one easily. The Vikings are going to
okay.
show us how mediocrity they are.
Okay, well, this is a pick'em game right now on the line, so everybody thinks this is going to be a really close game. What do you got in this game? This is a key game for both of these teams. You can ill afford to go 0-3 at this point, and I'm thinking you're leaning Vikings because you said the Chargers were done. Well, what do you got on this game, Omar?
Yep, I agree. I think at home, I think the Vikings finally do put it all together and win a game. I think Alexander Madison has a better game against the Chargers defense that has been a little lacking. I do believe that their receivers will be able to get open against J.C. Jackson and the crew there. Like you mentioned, Brandon Staley just does not have defense ready to go. I think Minnesota wins this game.
Okay. Yeah. What do you got on this one?
Right now, they said the spread is even right now. I don't foresee Minnesota losing at home. Man, I like Kirk Cousins. I like Herbert too, but I think the Vikings are hungry, man. The Vikings got to make something happen expeditiously, man, because you got. I mean, that division looks, man. You got them. You got the Detroit. You got Green Bay. Everybody's in limbo right now because I think everybody's won like maybe one game. Well, I think those other two teams, Detroit's won one. Green Bay's won one. They've lost like 1 or 2 in it, one or whatever. But I think Minnesota's going to come out hungry. They're going to win in a close game. I'm going to say Minnesota by 7.
Okay. Yeah, I tend to agree that Minnesota's going to come in and play well in this game. If they can just clean up their offense a little bit, they should have won at least one of the last 2 games. But yeah, I think Minnesota's going to clean that up on offense. If they don't, both of these teams, surprisingly, these two teams, their offense was their strength, and their offense has kind of been their detriment this year. Chargers have not been able to pull it out, the offense when they need it. The Vikings have just turned the ball over on offense. It looked decent as far as moving the ball, and Justin Jefferson has looked good. Kirk Cousins hasn't really played that bad. Even in the primetime game, people talk about Kirk in primetime. The last game, he played well. It's just the Vikings kept coughing it up against the Eagles. So I feel like the Vikings going to finally put it together. Like you said, this is a must-win for both of these teams. If they want to make a playoff run, you can ill afford to go 0-3 at this point in the season. And so I feel the Vikings pull this out, and this goes to Omar's, take that the Chargers could be done this season. And we can see the start to be the beginning of the end for the coach statement. All right, I'm going to touch on one more game, and if you guys want to hit another game, let me know. I was thinking about the Falcons and the Lions. Surprisingly, this is a 3.5 point for the Lions. The Lions coming off a loss, the Falcons coming off a win this week. I feel like this could be a very competitive game. This could be a big game for the rest of the season for them. Atlanta is 2-0 right now, and Detroit is 1-1. If Detroit wants to keep pace with Minnesota and Green Bay, because we have Minnesota winning this next game. This is kind of I don't know if it's a must-win, but this is a pretty big game for them, playing a much improved Atlanta Falcons team, which could give them some trouble there at home. Who do you got in this game, guys? We can go Can, Omar, Jake this time. Who do you got winning this game, Falcons at Lions? Can?
Man, I think this is the Falcons' first road trip.
Yeah.
This is the Falcons' first road trip, man.
Right.
And what's that?
Yeah, I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. This is the Falcons' first road trip. I think it's not going to look too good for the Falcons. Detroit is hungry. Detroit lost a close one to Seattle on Sunday. I like Detroit in a close one by 3 in Detroit.
Okay, close one. Okay, what about you, Omar? What do you got here?
Yeah, I gave my preview earlier, so I'm not going to go deep into it, but I agree with Ken again. Just like the last game where we both think that they'll win, Minnesota will win by around 7. I think that the Lions will win 3, and as you mentioned, by around 3. And as you all mentioned, a very tough, competitive, hard-nosed, close game.
Okay, you got Detroit by 3. What about you, Jake?
Jared Goff wins 34-14. They blow this team out. This aberration Falcons team that everybody thinks they're so good now. And I think the Lions and show them who they really are.
Wow.
Sorry, Falcons fans. You still don't have a QB.
Yeah, I like what the Falcons are doing on offense. I think this will be a ball control game for them. They have to keep the Lions' offense off the field. I think they have a more explosive offense than the Falcons. And being on the road, the Falcons got to control the clock a little bit. So I feel like they're going to run the ball just as much, if not more, in this game. Kind of do that ball control or time clock, control the clock a little bit, keep the Lions off. So I think that's why this will be a close game. I got the Lions winning, though, a close one still, too, as well. I think they pull it out in the end. Something like I got a 3-point game as well. The Lions pull it out in the end, maybe something like 24-20, something like that. But it's going to be a very competitive, entertaining game. It should be good. Any other games you guys want to touch on this coming week before we hit on today's games that are, let's see, right now we got the Saints tied with the Panthers going in mid-third quarter, 6-6, tight game there. And then we got the Browns and the Steelers. Browns up 11-7 in the second quarter. Yeah. So anyway, we're going
to be upset of the week next week, guys.
Okay.
Hold on.
I got the upset of the week next week, guys. Put your bets all in.
I'm gonna let you go.
Hold on, Jake.
Hold on, I'm gonna let you go, Jake. I promise. I don't want to have anything to say other than this. Flo, can't let that go. You said that they will win by 3, and you said 24-20. So now we're looking at Canteen and his math again. I ain't gonna let you go with that math like that.
They got drunk together.
Canteen, so I'm gonna get
Y'all didn't catch it.
They're drunk together. Shocking.
I just said it and then nobody laughed, so I said I'll just keep going and move on.
Jake.
All right, upset of the
Jake.
week, guys.
I was trying to do
Upset
it
next week, guys.
easy, just slip it in there and see if anybody catches it. And nobody. Oh, but you caught it, Omar. Good job, Omar.
Omar, you caught it. Good job.
Good job,
Upset
Omar.
of the week next week.
Get it
I'm
past
telling
the
y'all
score.
right now, guys. Listen to me.
Okay.
Sam Howell just showed how great he is.
Oh my God.
He outduels Josh
You want
Allen
him on the
next week.
Broncos or something?
Take the Commanders over the Bills. They're upsetting the Bills next week. Y'all heard it here first. Be ready, guys. I can't wait. Wait.
Okay.
Commanders upset Bills. They
Where's
go
that at?
3-0. The Commanders look
Washington?
legit.
You know, there's 6.5-point underdogs. That is an upset. That's a big upset.
They're
Don't
going
say it. Don't
take the points
do
and
that.
everything,
Don't,
guys.
don't go for that now.
Anybody else got an upset special? That's a good one. I could see that happening, but I don't know. The Bills look pretty good this week.
Sam Howell shows you why he's a better quarterback than Josh Allen.
Oh my.
Hey, shocker here. I'm shocked just as much. He shows us everything.
I don't know if
Josh
he's
Allen's a little
better.
overrated, guys.
I don't know if he's better, but he's pretty. He's
Josh Allen played superb yesterday, bro.
Anybody
He
else
played
got
the Raiders.
Anybody else got an upset special? If not, that's fine. We don't have to. I just wondering. As long as Jake threw one out there, I got an upset special that I kind of mentioned earlier. The Eagles and the Bucks. They're playing at home.
That one, you're just high.
I think the Bucks could upset the Eagles in this game. The Eagles have looked a little shaky. They had some turnovers. Jalen Hurts has not looked great. And it's not just because they're in my division. I think just because of the Bucks. If the Bucks had been playing this well, I wouldn't pick this. But I think this is an upset special. I think the Bucks can pull this out by 3 against the Eagles as long as they don't turn it over. The defense has not looked great, but Baker has looked pretty decent with these wide receivers, with Mike Evans and who's the other guy? The other wide receiver that they have?
Chris Godwin.
Yeah, Chris Godwin. I just think that they're going to play well. I like the way Baker's been playing. He looks motivated. He looks, being in a new situation and a new team. He seems to be really reinvigorated. We'll see what happens as long as, he doesn't get injured or something like that. But I think this could be an upset. I don't know that the Bucks are going to make the playoffs per se, but this is my upset special for this weekend. Bucks over the Eagles by 3. All right, so let's look at this game right now that we're looking at. Saints tied up 6-6 late in the third, and then the Browns 11-7 over the Steelers. Let's go Browns first, and then we'll go Saints-Panthers. It's later. The game's going to finish a little earlier. Let's go Saints-Panthers because it's going to finish earlier, so let's go that game first. Saints and Panthers are tied right now. Who do you think is going to pull this out, guys?
Saints win it.
Okay.
And they're going to finish it off. Hey, like I said, it's just the early time. It's early right now.
Okay.
Derek Carr's learning it all. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's third quarter.
Yeah, 6-6.
Yeah, I look.
Go ahead, Omar.
Saints by 3.
No, I was going to
Saints
say I
by
agree.
3.
Saints. Yep, I
Saints
agree.
by 3. Okay. I tend to agree. I think the Saints are going to pull this out. They haven't looked great here. I don't know if it's the Panthers' defense playing well, or it's the Saints struggling a little bit on offense. I tend to think Derek Carr tends to struggle from game to game, so I think the Saints got just enough to pull this out by 3 as well. How about the Browns and the Steelers? You go first, Ken. We'll go the other direction. Ken, Omar, Jake. Who you got here? Browns are leading here by 4 points, or in Can's version 3. But what do you got here, Canteen? The
Browns, bro.
and the Steelers.
Going Browns.
You gonna go Browns?
I'm
win
going
this
Browns,
game?
bro. I like the Browns.
Okay. So Browns.
I
Browns
tap
by
out on the
6.
math joke. I'm tremendous.
Shout out to the professor
Tremendous.
for catching that point
Yeah.
game
Brown by 6.
and a 4-point score.
Browns by 6. Okay, wow. I predicted that the Steelers would win this game 17-10, so I'm going to keep that score, and maybe the Steelers.
Are they gonna take one? They're gonna take one of the Browns points away to make your score true.
Well, I mean, yeah, they can't get 10 now, but I'm still gonna, I'm gonna keep my original score and hopefully it's somewhere close to it.
17-11, I guess, maybe something like that. That would be close.
Yeah.
What do you got, Jake, in this one?
I got the Browns winning it, but now it's up to Watson. I'm watching the game, and Nick Chubb's out. He got a leg injury. He done for the game.
Oh.
So Watson, you want to show up? Show up now. You need to show up now.
I agree with Hot Take. Watson needs to show up this game because Watson has looked like trash all year. I agree with Jake.
Yep.
Okay. All year, it's one game, Omar.
And they're saying that leg injury is way bad. They're saying he's not coming back for the season.
Well, I know.
He might be gone. Fantasy owners, sorry.
But let's think about it. Last year, he didn't play well either.
Well, that last year, yeah. But I mean, if you're counting last year, okay.
So Watson,
okay,
on the clock.
Okay, I'm gonna tend to go.
But isn't that his warm up? Wasn't that his warm up last year? Why does he get a warm up this year too? You don't need 2 warm ups. He had a warm up last year.
Okay, that's fair. I think the Browns are going to be a pretty good team this year. I think Watson's going to play well this year. But like I said, I'm going to have to go with the Steelers because everybody kind of scoffed at me as I said the Steelers would maybe. I think I put them second in the division. But Steelers need to win this game. They can't go down 0-2. This would be detrimental. They got a young quarterback in Kenny Pickett. They got a young team, a young offense, and so they have to win this game. And then we can start to prove Jake wrong that Mike Tomlin will have a losing season this year. I just don't see them having a losing season. I think the Steelers pull this one out. It's going to be a nail biter. I'm gonna go some crazy score and actually be correct. I'm going to say the right spread in the score, but it's going to be. It looks like I think it's going to be something like 22 to 20, 2-point game. 22 to 20. I don't know how the Browns get to 20. It's 9 points. Maybe they kick 3 field goals. Is that what it is? Okay. So, yeah, that could happen. 21 to 20, something like that. Or 22 to 20. I think the Steelers pull this game out from the skin of their teeth. But I think the Browns still have a decent season. Deshaun Watson looks good this year. But the Steelers need to win this game. Otherwise, 0-2 is not good for them to make the playoffs.
Who the Steelers got next?
Huh?
Who the Steelers play next?
I don't know. Who does Steelers play next? They play the
Raiders. They got the Raiders on what, Monday night?
Raiders.
They'll get their first win finally.
No, like I said, I think that them. I agree with Ken. I think the Steelers coming in late on a nighttime game from the East Coast. Kenny Pickett playing under the lights of Las Vegas. I think that's a Raiders victory.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We covered everything. Anything else you guys want to shout out? Anything you guys want to say? Wrapping up the show. Good show, man. You guys.
Did we?
What did we do? What, Omar? Go ahead.
Did we tell them where they could find us at? Flo?
Yeah, we can. You can find us at The Bottom Line Sports on any of the platforms. The Bottom Line Sports on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Ball and Buds carries the show as well. Ball and Buds Sports Entertainment carries the show. Let's Talk Sports normally carries the show. We have Disconnect with him. Shout out to Dan Harris. And,
join the Facebook group. Come get us to 1,500.
Hey, we're up over 1,300 at least now. We're trying to make 15, and let's get to 14 and keep going. Hot Take Jake dropping his hot takes, dropped his one.
Hey, listen to these upsets, man. I'm giving them to y'all. Serving them up.
He's whooped the Broncos this weekend by at least.
Hey, Hot Take Jake throwing the takes down. Let's just hope he doesn't burn down the show with the hot takes he's got.
Never. Hey,
Russ,
you're on the clock, Russ. You better come out
on the clock.
Time to show up.
He's gonna call Sean Payton up.
The season starts now.
Jake, be ready, Russ. Jake's got you on the clock. Russ is officially on the clock from Super Bowl goals.
And Josh
so now
McDaniels.
Russ is on the clock.
Super Bowl
And the whole AFC West.
I can't wait. I can't wait, man. Y'all be ready. Y'all be ready. Hey, Sam Howell, you're looking good like I said you would.
At the bottom
I hate to say
line,
it.
sports.
Baby.
At the bottom line, sports, y'all. Go subscribe. Come on, baby. Let's go. We love it.
Go! Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Jake. Thanks, Omar. Thanks, Ken. If you want to hang out after we can. If not, we'll see y'all later. Y'all don't got to hang out. Ball and Buzz. Go subscribe to them as well. Ball and Buzz Sports Entertainment. Let's talk sports. We'll see you next time, man. Appreciate all you guys. Take care. Signing out from the bottom line. Go Cowboys!